Welcome to Rise Above, the podcast where we turn pain into purpose and struggle into strength. In today's episode, we will be talking about my bariatric surgery, VSG journey, the emotional weight, the grief, the healing, the entire journey. Um, the ones that, it was about reclaiming my life. So we're going to dive deep into that today. The reality is that people see the results, but they do not know the story behind the decision of me having to have bariatric surgery. So I started from a place of emotional exhaustion, having gone through so much. My weight was tied to my trauma, my grief, and everything that I had experienced from many years in my life up until 2022, I would say, that I moved here to Miami. So it was being overweight was tied to so much shame, so much guilt, so much unhealed emotions. And rather than having that moment of where my healing was verbal, I turned to food. So I was slowly eating away my emotions. And while I knew that I was heavy set, I didn't realize how much, and I didn't realize how much out of control it was over the years. So for me, this wasn't just a decision to have surgery, to lose the weight because it was the easy way out. No, it was of me, of restarting my life, of a new chapter, of choosing myself, of me choosing not to give up. Because I did get to a point where the doctors are like, you're pre-diabetic, and my knees were hurting. I had sciatic pain going down my left side, high blood pressure. I mean, everything that you can possibly name it, I had. I was self-conscious because I knew that I was overweight. I didn't feel comfortable in my clothes. So I wouldn't buy clothes that I would have to buy because of the size. So I would buy clothes that were stretchable. So like leggings, jeggings, because even if I went a size smaller than what I really was, they would adjust to my body frame. So it wasn't something that was an easy decision for me, but it was absolutely necessary for health reasons. And I really didn't care if people felt I took the easy way out. I lived a life of people always judging me because of my appearance, because I was American and I wasn't, I was gringa or whatever the case may be. And because of everything that I had went through in life when it came to people judging me because of my physical appearance and because of my culture, because of my personality, because I was born in the United States, I really learned how to not worry about what people thought about me. That's your opinion and that's your perception of me, and your perception is not my reality. You don't know me. You don't know what I've gone through. You don't know why I am the person that I am. You don't know my upbringing. So that just tells me that people that are judgmental is because they are masking what they really feel about themselves by judging others, by bullying others, which is sad if you really think about it that way. That it's like, you are going through so much, and instead of being forthcoming of what you're experiencing and being relatable, you rather just try to belittle someone because there's something in the root of yourself that you're not happy with. So again, VSG isn't magic that works. It wasn't something that I would have to do every day. It was a decision to spark my surgery because VSG, yes, they cut 85% of your stomach out, but it's more of a metabolism thing. It really speeds up your metabolism to the point where that's where the weight loss comes to. So I really had to learn how to eat. So what I will say is the day of the surgery, it was November 7th, 2023. My husband passed away on November 8th, 2020. I was extremely emotional. I thought that I was going to die. I thought my husband's going to take me with me. He's going to take me with him. I really thought I was going to die. Like, I called my daughter. I was like, you know what? God forbid if anything happens, this is all where you're going to fight. The papers to the apartment are here. If you need to reach out for someone from work, you already know who you need to reach out. So they have this. All the life insurance and everything is under your name. Like, I gave her everything. Passwords, logins, bank accounts. I gave her everything. And I remember I told her, I was like, I know I haven't been the perfect mother, but know that I tried my best to be that example for you, and I'm so proud of the person that you are. Like if I was dying, and to me, like, I don't know if my mom remembers because she was here around that time. Like, I was very quiet, I was emotional, I was crying. I remember my brother-in-law called from the Dominican Republic, and he was like, let's pray, which took me completely off guard because I wasn't expecting that from him. And then we did it, and I was just like, okay. I was in there, I did the process, and thankfully I'm here today and everything worked out, right? And it was an extensive process that I went through. Thankfully, my insurance covered it all. At the time, I think all I had to pay out of pocket was like $1,800, but they wound up reimbursing that to me. So it really added up to that they paid for the entire surgery. So this is what I had to face. And this is why I say that the bariatric surgery was the turning point or the catalyst to my healing journey, to me having to focus not only on not turning to food for emotions, but having to actually deal with those emotions. I had already started therapy, so my therapist also had a lot to do with encouraging me to take that step, to do that. Like, she validated that she had so many people that had done the surgery and they would just turn into different people, not overnight, right? It's a process. So what I will say is, when I came out of surgery, the most hurtful part of surgery was the gas pain. The gas pain, because they inflate your stomach to be able to do what is it that they're doing in there to cut your stomach out. So your stomach has all that air in there. And I remember the nurse was like, to get it, I was in pain. I mean, there was people in my room. My brother-in-law was there, my sister was there, my mom was there, and a friend had also come and seen me. I can't remember if my dad was there or not. So everyone was there. My niece was also there as well. And I can remember, like, I have pictures, like, I'm just like this, like, I'm like, thank you all for being here, but this pain is serious. And it wasn't like I was letting it out through the backside. It doesn't work like that. I wasn't letting it out through the backside. I wasn't letting it out through the mouth. It was just so much massive pain. So the nurse was telling me, if you walk, it helps. Walking helps. So I was like, let's start walking. But I still had the effects of anesthesia. So I remember I was like, come on, give me what I'm suited up with all the IVs. I was like, come on, let's walk. I want to walk because I want to get this pain out. And I remember at one point I went to go, she's like, Miss Javier, open your eyes. I was like, huh? I was like, my eyes open. My eyes open. Because I just I wanted that pain to go away. And one other thing that was really painful for me was they made 6 incisions, 6 very, like, it was less than the diameter of a dime. That's how small this incision was. Like, you have the monitors, because it was laparoscopic. Laparoscopic is computer based. So the doctor uses all these aparatos, they put it into the holes, and then you have that one hole that is where they're gonna pull the stomach out. So that hole where they pulled the stomach out, I guess they were playing tug of war, and that stomach did not want to come out, because that incision was by far the one that hurt the most. And then once I was home, I stood in the hospital for one night, did really well. They put the thing on your legs to make sure that you don't get any blood clots or whatnot. And I felt bad because I had to get up every so often to pee, because they make you drink all this water and you have to call the nurse. So I was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, that's okay. Like, South Miami Hospital, love you, because the nurses did not make you feel like you were a burden or you were bothering them like most hospitals they are. So when I was sent home, I get a tickle in my throat every night, and I would cough uncontrollably. And that's the worst thing that you can do after having bariatric surgery, because not only do you have to put something on your stomach, the incision where they pulled the stomach out, oh my God. And I slept at like somewhat of an arch. I didn't sleep all the way flat. You can't sleep on your stomach, you can't sleep on your side, so you got to sleep in the back. So it was an adjustment, right? So not only that it was an adjustment for me, I had to mentally reconfigure my brain that I could only start with 2 ounces of whatever it was that I was sipping on, because it was A month before, a liquid diet. 2 weeks before, clear liquid diet. And then 2 weeks after the surgery, a clear liquid diet. And then the doctor is your first visit, and the doctor tells you when you can start the puree. So it was tough because I was already doing the liquid diet, right? And which I was good. I was drinking shakes, but the moment it turned to clear liquids and only clear liquids, that was a struggle. That was a struggle because you couldn't finagle eating a cracker. You couldn't finagle doing this. No, like you had to make sure that you follow that, which is why you also lose about anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds before you actually have the surgery. So you'll hear a lot of bariatric patients say, my starting weight, my highest weight was this. My starting weight was this, right? Because my highest weight was 283 pounds. That is how much I started weighing before I did the liquid diet. In the liquid diet, my starting weight was 272. And then you say like your current weight. So from right now, my current weight is 171 pounds. So it's been a journey. It's been 2 years. I didn't experience dumping syndrome, thankfully. That's something when you eat sugar and you just start eating things that you're not supposed to eat as you have bariatric surgery, your body reacts to it and it's dumping. It's literally, it's what it sounds like. So just like diarrhea uncontrollably. I had to learn that yes, I was eating smaller portions, but I really had to change what I was eating. So me being Spanish is somewhat difficult, right? Because you go to family's house and they're not going to change what they're eating. They're not going to really understand that you need to focus on protein and not have so much carbs. You can limit carbs and focus on veggies and stuff like that. And you can't eat and drink at the same time. So I needed to have that full control over when I went to people's houses, what I ate, what I didn't eat. And I had to start that at home. So I started substituting a lot of the stuff. Like I didn't buy sweets anymore. I did sugar substitutes. And I'm not going to lie, for the first year, I was like, I could eat this little bit. Who's substituting what? So once I got to, because you do, after surgery, it's the 2 weeks of clear, and then you have clear, and then not clear, you have liquid, then you go into puree, then you go into soft foods, and then you gradually go into the solid foods. So when I went to the solid foods, I was like, I could eat little. So for that first year, while I lost about 83 pounds up until almost a year, I was maybe up until August of 2024, I hit a stall right away. I didn't lose any more. The lowest that I went to by the time I made the year was probably 193, and then I went up to 200. So from 2004, when I made the year, remember I made the year towards the end of the year, and then until maybe 3-4 months ago, in 2025, I was at a stall. But here is why I was at a stall. I didn't really adjust the stuff that I needed to adjust. So I went on to GLP-1, Zepbound, Manjaro. And that's where I lost the rest of the weight, which equals up to 115 pounds that I lost. And that is when I was like, okay, I had control over the food that I ate, in the sense of I wasn't turning to food because I was emotionally eating. I knew that I could only eat a little bit, but I was eating the same or similar to, I just shifted I was using avocado oil. I wasn't frying anything. I would occasionally substitute my sugar. I couldn't find a sugar substitute that worked for me. So I would use a lot of the zero calorie sweeteners and stuff like that, but I would still get that little craving of wanting my traditional coffee with sugar. So it wasn't until I switched to the GLP-1 where I was like, I cut the sugar out completely, and I went down to my goal weight, which my goal weight was 175, 170. So I'm at 171 and I fluctuate. I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. So you lose weight from your body, and I want you guys to really think about this. You lose weight from your body, but you also lose weight from your soul, and both hurt before they heal. So for me, when the weight was coming off, my confidence went through the roof. I started to realize that the things that happened to me in my life had nothing to do with myself. It was, the circumstances, the card that life dealt for me. And because I was making the wrong decision, so that was God's way of redirecting me, and there was lessons that I wasn't learning. So while I started to rebuild myself in the sense of being more conscious, emotionally conscious, and focused on like reflecting on my past, and while I was feeling and building myself and feeling amazing, being able to go into stores and not have to go to the plus side, being able to buy stuff and actually have it fit me, it was amazing. It was amazing feeling, and it is amazing feeling even now when I can order stuff. I'm either a 6, 8, or a 10, depending on where the manufacturer makes it. So yes, did I lose hair? Absolutely, I lost my hair. But I prepared for everything that could possibly happen, that I started taking care of my hair even before that. Is it a slow process for your hair to grow back? Absolutely, but hair grows back. Is my hair thin? Absolutely is thin. But now I have a hair regimen that I take care of, and my hair is growing back. It's you can see, especially in the front, like my hair, I lost my hair, but it's growing back. And I'm not self-conscious. There's more things for me to worry about than the loss of my hair. Because in the end of the day, if I was to lose all of my hair, I can get a wig. I can get a wig. This grows back. But what I received in turn of having this surgery, it's unspeakable. It's I can't even find the words, because those that knew me before and those that knew me now see that I'm not the person that I was before everything happened to me. I'm a better version of that person, because the scars are still there of everything that I went through. But I've learned that I don't need to settle to be in a relationship. I don't need to settle to make someone else happy if I'm feeling uncomfortable. I need to put my priorities first. And that all happened with bariatric surgery. Like, me having to work on my emotional eating was the first step. Then it was, okay, now, Jacqueline, what are you going to do from here on? You're still feeling this. So it also helped me deal with the emotions of the grief of losing my husband, of separating from my daughter, and this new chapter of being a grandma. What does that mean? Like, and then coming to terms that, being overweight, I could have died. There's just no way around it. I could have died. So it's not like losing weight. Losing weight doesn't automatically heal the inside. That part takes real work. So it gave me the start to me wanting to actually put the work into healing, because it didn't matter if I lost the weight if I didn't put the drive or the focus or the energy into healing. That was just the restart for me. That was the catalyst for me to start healing, because now I had this new body. I was feeling amazing and confident, but I had all this other emotional baggage that needed to get dealt with. So I had to deal with that, and I dealt with it. So the icing on the cake for me in my healing journey was my trip to Bali. When I tell you that trip really helped me understand the core root of where all my traumas came from, why I accepted the men that I accepted, and that I can live in my feminine energy. And even though I had the masculine energy because of being a single mom, that it was okay for me to be in my feminine divine energy. When I tell you that if you are in a healing journey, you definitely need to go to Bali and have like this self-love, self-care trip. I am planning on having an episode with the two facilitators to talk a little bit about it. But when I tell you that it was worth it and more, I went in expecting one thing and thinking that I knew where everything came from, and I realized that it was something else. So having people telling you look amazing, I will say this, right? You get a different kind of attention when you've lost the weight versus when you have the weight on. So people are mean when people are heavy. There's just no way around it. Now you definitely get attention from men, which I'm not gonna lie, like it's like woohoo. But there are men out there that really enjoy heavyset women. That was never my problem. I was always in relationships where they accepted me for who I was. So the losing of the weight wasn't because of men. It was because it was a whole bunch of emotional stuff going on. People open the door for me now. I've noticed. And it's amazing and it's baffling to know that when I was heavier, people would slam the door in my face. Not literally, but they can see me coming and they would not wait and hold the door. They would look at you when you go to restaurants to see what you was eating and how much of it you was eating. Versus now, people don't really notice that. What they will notice is like, oh, she doesn't eat as much. And they'll be like, ay, mija, tú tienes que comer. But when you're heavy and you're eating, it's like, mija, tú no crees que es mucho. Why are you all up in my plate? Mind your business. And what I don't like is that people think they know why you're overweight. Esa está pesada porque esa come mucho. It was never like, damn, she's probably going through a lot. She probably does a lot of emotional eating, or maybe she has a disorder that has her gain weight. Maybe she's on medication. No, it's because I was eating a lot. So people assume that because you're heavy, you're eating a lot. People assume that when you're skinny is because you don't eat a lot. So if you sit here and let society's perception of who you are become the definition of who you are, you're never going to be able to heal. You have to really learn on, let them think whatever they want to think. They don't know me. They do know me. And that's why I did this podcast, because I want people that can relate to what I've gone through and validate that. Drop your comments underneath here. Like, let me know and validate that you experienced that, whether you're heavy set or whether you're not, right? And it's like, if you're too skinny, you're anorexic. And no disrespect to anyone, because that is a disorder. What people don't understand is that obesity is a disorder. It is a disorder. You do not know how to regulate your food consumption. It is a disorder. There's just no way around it. It is a disorder. It's a disease, a different kind of disease that you cannot medicate. You cannot medicate, because that's people turning to food to emotionally eat. And then you see the weight putting on. It's so easy to put the weight on, but it's so difficult to take the weight off. And that's just the reality of it. One thing that I will say is I see, ay muchacha, tú estás más linda. Was I ugly when I was big? And I know they don't mean it in that context, but it just, watch what you say and how you say it. Because I wasn't ugly. At my heaviest, I wasn't ugly. No, absolutely not. I was still absolutely good looking, because I could turn heads. Like I said, you get a different kind of attention, right? I do feel that because at my heaviest, I was so broken. I had so much healing to do. I was attracting men that were just as broken, even worse. And I would accept that, because I thought that because of what I had been through, because I was heavy, that's how I deserved to be treated. So it wasn't until I lost the weight and I started focusing on my emotional healing, on my mental healing, and everything, and reflecting on what life has put in my way, where I started to notice that they had the problem and I was broken. So because I was broken, I was pulling in all this negative energy. It is so true when they tell you a positive mind attracts positive things versus a negative mind attracts negative things. It is so true, because I sit here now, and one thing I want you to understand, when you are healing and you are in the process of healing and you're conscious that you need to heal, and that healing is not something that there's an end point, it's ongoing, because life changed, chapters change, you live life, right? You realize that it's so much easier for you to identify people that are not healed. It really is easier for you to identify that, and know that it's not your job to heal someone. You can be there for that person, and you can give them your feedback, and you can hope that they see it and they start to do their healing journey. But one thing that I will tell you is that I am no longer going to surround myself around people that need healing and are not doing anything to heal themselves. Especially if they have someone like myself or someone that has healed in their life and you could identify it, and they just choose to turn the other ear. They don't have to take your advice, right? But here's why I wouldn't do that. I am a very emotional person. So I feel people's energies. I do. And it is in my nature to want to fix people, even though it's not my job to fix things or people. So if you're not receptive to healing, I will listen to you, right? But I can only take you in doses, because I don't want to retract on my healing journey. And that's really powerful, but that's the reality of it. But like I said, healing for me was the best part of the bariatric journey. So here's what matters more than the scale. 2 years, 115 pounds down. But what changed, what transformed was my mindset. So I don't focus on the 115 pounds. I focus on, I went through body dysmorphia. I had emotional baggage. I had mental instabilities. I had a lot of healing to do from trauma, grief, and everything that I had been through in the past. So not only did my body transform, my mindset transformed as well. Eating for fuel and not feeling. So I've learned how to separate that. I need to eat to fuel my body and not to feel good about myself. It's not tied to an emotion. So breaking generational health patterns, and this is a good thing, and this is more so, for my daughter and not my grandmother. I'm a grandmother, so I want to be here. So my daughter, I don't force anyone to eat the way that I eat, but if I set that example, eventually they're going to get there. If they don't, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But I want to set the example for my kids, for my granddaughter, and know that when they come, yes, I'll still make them un arroz con gandules or whatever, but they're going to know that it's going to be done with a different kind of salt, a low sodium type of ingredients, a different kind of rice, and they're still going to have the same great flavor. What I truly gained, I gained a lot of confidence. I gained my self-love back. I gained, clarity. I gained peace and a second chance to be a different version of me at the age of 45, at being a grandmother, living alone, learning what that is like, right? Learning how to feel comfortable with being alone, with doing things alone, which is something that I am going to do probably alive one day, where I want to be able to go to a bar instead of a bar by myself. I want to be able to go to a restaurant, and I don't mean like a McDonald's or anything like that. I mean like a restaurant, like, I don't know, just like a regular restaurant that you normally make reservations and you go and you sit and you eat. And I want to be able to do that by myself. I want to take myself out. I don't feel comfortable doing that yet, but I'm open to it, which is something that I would not be open to before. So this definitely is a second chance for me, and I'm here for it. When I tell you that I am here for it, I'm here for it, because I lived so many years on the perception of others, taking shit from people that I shouldn't have not taken shit from, feeling that I was not worthy or I was worthless because of certain things that I had experienced either in childhood or just in life in general, or because of being bullied when I was in Puerto Rico. So that transcended into my adulthood, my adolescence, and my adulthood. And when something happened to me when I was about 4 or 5, and that molded the identity of what I felt of men, which is why I attracted the men that I did. And there's going to be a different episode where I talk about my 3 most impactful loves. So to everyone on this journey, whenever you're pre-op, post-op, considering surgery, or just taking your first step toward change, I want to ask you something. What part of your health journey are you most proud of? And what is one habit you want to start today? I'm proud of the person that I am today. I eat healthier. I have veggies in my diet. I have a whole bunch of sugar substitutes. I've learned how to create into meals the food that I used to love, portion size, healthier versions, and to limit some of the things. So again, for those that are listening and that are in the process of or have had bariatric surgery, what part of your health journey are you most proud of? And what is one habit you want to start today? Drop your comments below. If you don't feel comfortable dropping your comments below, send me an email. My information is on the page. I appreciate you all watching. This one was a really, really good one for me. So remember, the scale doesn't measure strength, discipline, or your heart. Your transformation begins from within inside, long before it shows you the outside. So choose yourself every single day and make sure that you are your top priority, because everyone else out there is going to choose themselves first. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for always tuning in to Rise Above. And remember that no matter what you go through in life, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and you can rise above from it. Thank you.